Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I have a really cool custom piece here to review, and it's the Man-Eater 12-inch 30cm maquette. It's Bruce the Man-Eater, hyper detail, scale is 1/25, and the accessories are the mechanical arm stand. Bruce Shark credits are here. Now, the chap who makes these has an Instagram page, but he is doing these in his spare time, so he can't do them as much as he probably would like to. They do take a lot of time to make and paint, so he did tell me not to push too much, as far as you guys being sent his way to order one. You just have to bear in mind that he is a busy guy. This is his Instagram page here, Bruce_Shark_UK, and he does some amazing work, different scales. I believe he's just doing 2 scales now, this one that I have here, which is the 1/25, and then I believe the other one is, let me double check that for you, but it's a lot bigger. Alright, this was it. He says he only makes the 12-inch version, mini Bruces, which is what I have here, and the 25-inch versions. So those are the only 2 versions he does now. And I would have loved to have got one of the big ones, but it's just a matter of space to display it. You know, the bigger one's obviously going to have more detail, but these smaller ones, those are the baby ones there. That's one of the ones I have. I got lucky because I wanted to order one, and he had 4 on the go that were going out to customers. He said, if anyone cancels, I'll let you know, and sure enough, someone did cancel, and I was able to get one, which I'm very grateful for. But that is how you contact him, but do bear in mind, he is a busy guy and he may not be, doing too many of these. It's just something he's doing in his spare time, and he may be able to fit you in. But it's worth having a word with him. I just don't want to get the guy inundated with messages when he's a busy guy as it is. So drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at DeanKnight333. This will be a review of the 12-inch Man-Eater, Bruce the Shark from the classic film Jaws. So a presentation for a custom piece is very, very nice. Obviously you've seen this. Lovely. I think he used to use a magnet, but this one was sealed shut with a nice bit of tape here that continued the I would have preferred the magnet, being honest with you, because I don't like, maybe there was a way to undo this without ripping it, but I was excited to see Bruce, so that's how I did it. But beautiful foam, keeps everything safe. This nice little card here, that's a lovely little touch. I'll just let you see that if you want to read it. And very safely, packaged up. The main bulk of the shark was in here, and the mechanical arm that holds him up out of the water was in there. The side fins were in these little slits here, very carefully packaged up. So beautiful presentation, a lot of thought put into that and a lot of care put into it, so top marks for the presentation of the package. And here he is. Oh, you also get 3 barrels, which is awesome. And I've got my beautiful steel book here. There's a nice little accompanying piece to the shark. That's from my buddy Laren in USA. Thank you very much, Laren, for that steel book. I absolutely love it. Right, let's check out this amazing piece. This is flawless work, and this is a small piece. I can only imagine what the 25-inch version would look like. I'm so tempted, but I just don't have anywhere to put it. That's why this one was perfect for me, because the shelves are completely full and it's absolute chaos, if I'm being honest with you. There's certain things I have that I just don't have space for, but I love them, so I had to have them. This was something recently, I just got bitten by the Jaws bug, and I've grown up seeing Jaws all my life. So many times when I was growing up in the 80s and the early 90s, and recently just kind of got back into it again. I always loved the PS2 Jaws Unleashed game. I really wish that they'd make that available on the the current consoles, just as a like classic games, even though it probably may not qualify as a classic game. I don't know how well Jaws Unleashed sold, but that was such a great game. It was like you just got to be Jaws in the ocean, free roaming around doing whatever you want, and it was actually really fun. So I wish I could play that again. But what a classic film, and Martin has done an amazing job here bringing Jaws to life. Really, truly, just the proportions, the menacing look of him, the beautiful display stand, and the inclusion of the 3 barrels. Just amazing stuff. Alright, now just trying to get a good angle. I'll show you from the front view as well. But the business end, the mouth is where all the action is. And I love the subtle, it's kind of like maybe a mild gore. I've seen other folks out there with custom Bruce the Sharks in various scales. Usually the videos you find on YouTube of these custom pieces, they're usually the bigger ones. I think there's a 55-inch version out there somewhere. It looks amazing, but I've seen various levels of gore around the mouth. Some people want mild, some people want medium, some people want heavy gore, and I do like the look of those, so something to think about for the future. But what a beautiful way to start, with this small, manageable, flawless piece by Martin. I mean, look at the teeth, the inside of the mouth, around the mouth, that eye, just terrifying. Teeth look nice and sharp. Just absolute stuff and nightmares. And while the movie is a work of fiction, these things exist. That's actually out there. Jaws, Bruce the Shark was supposed to be 25 feet long, but 20-foot long great whites aren't that uncommon in the real world. And I don't know if it's just mobile phones and everyone having a camera now, but there seem to be more and more just terrifying shark attacks in Egypt, in the Red Sea recently. About maybe 2-3 months ago, some poor dude from Russia. I'm not saying you should go looking for it because it is really disturbing, but someone filmed it and the poor guy was just taken in front of his father. Absolutely heartbreaking, and it just reminded me of the scene in Jaws where the little boy is taken by Bruce, and even though you don't see too much of that, it's still just horrific to think about. So there is that very strong reminder whenever you're looking at Bruce here, that it is the stuff of nightmares and it is like something out of a horror movie, but they actually are out there and they do exist, and yet people keep going in the water. So I know it's tempting, with the heat, the summertime, you're looking at the ocean, you think, oh man, to swim right now, that'd be pretty sweet. But if you're in Australia or like California or the Red Sea and Egypt, I just wouldn't risk it, man. There's a lot of stuff going on out there in the ocean. That's their domain. I don't think we have any business being in the ocean. That's their world. I understand the nature to explore and discover and report. I get it, and I'm grateful. I love watching nature programs and shark documentaries, but just be careful out there. If I can save one life by just stressing how dangerous it is in the ocean, we're just floppy bits of pink meat. That's all we are, just swimming around carefree, not knowing what may be just feet away from us. And it may be full and may not bother with you, but it might be hungry. It might be really hungry. So don't risk it. Ankle deep and that's it. Not even knee deep. I've seen people get attacked by sharks, not in person, but when they're in knee deep water. You can look that up. I should say though, the fatal attack recently in the Red Sea in Egypt was actually a tiger shark. But there was a chap, Simon Ellis I think his name was, he was actually from the UK, and he was swimming in Little Bay, Australia I think it was, and yeah, he had an encounter with a great white, and that was fatal, and it was absolutely brutal. So yeah, stay out of the water, folks. And you get all those, since the 80s, I was born in 1980, I've watched all the shark documentaries, Ron and Valerie Taylor back in the day, amazing footage, and you just hear a lot of folks saying, sharks don't think of us as food. That's proven to be not the case, I believe. I think they'll think of us as food if they're hungry enough and we're swimming around and we're an easy meal. There's not as much meat and blubber on us as there is on a nice juicy seal, but desperate times. What are you going to do? We've all done it. We've all walked into McDonald's and sometimes you just got to eat. And there is that really subtle but movie accurate, I'm going to call it a ring around the black eye. and I remember it mostly, as other folks have mentioned in their videos, from the scene when it burst through the glass coming after Brody. But how Martin managed to get that accomplished on a piece this small is absolutely mind-blowing. Such a beautiful paint job on it too, all the scarring. Get a look at the piece on the rotating base, which is perfect for this. This is exactly the kind of thing you need a rotating base for. So just appreciate it as it comes around. I'll zoom in a moment, but we'll just get some full body shots. I'll give you some low angles as well. Yeah, my favourite parts, it's all my favourite part, but I keep looking at the dorsal fin, that iconic fin, just the shape of it, so intimidating. Obviously the whole head area, the mouth, the teeth, it's just worth every penny. Very reasonable price as well for this. I was actually quite surprised when he told me. Very fair for what you're getting. Now I think the way you're supposed to display him on the base is the other way round that you just saw him, but when you turn him around this way he points in more of an upward direction. It's really actually quite cool for, you know, just focusing on the head and the teeth. So it depends. If I've got him on one of the high shelves, then I'll have him pointing down obviously, and if he's on a low shelf he'll be in this position pointing up. But it's nice that you can do that. Look at that, it's so accurate looking. Gosh, I watched Jaws 4, Jaws the Revenge, and Jaws 3 a lot when I was a kid. I remember the kind of mom and pop video rental place where I lived, very small, always smelt funny, dodgy carpet, really dirty. And yeah, I just remember the poster. Back then in the 80s, late 80s, there was obviously no internet, so you know, I was so young, and it wasn't reading magazines about movies or anything, and I just was walking home from school one day and I saw the poster for Jaws the Revenge, and I ran home and begged my mum to rent it, which she did, and I must have watched it about 50 times, like over the next few years, always renting it again and again, and only when I'm older realising how bad the film is, but you know, it was magic back then. And Jaws 3, I might have mentioned in a previous video on the NECA figures recently, but Jaws 3 had some really messed up Jaws kills, like the point of view inside his mouth and the guy was getting chewed up. That was just nightmare stuff. Anyway, you can't beat the original. And here's the base with the mechanical arm. It's kind of like a mixed media thing going on here, where the actual mechanical parts are, I guess, made from some kind of, I don't want to assume, I didn't ask Martin, and I haven't even really touched it much. I don't want to, because I don't want to risk any kind of mishaps on my part, but I'm assuming some kind of plastic, you know, maybe. But then you've got the kind of chains, or you know, this is like, let me just see, I'm going to just give that a little poke. yeah, that's like some kind of string situation there, but perfectly, you know, visually accomplishes what it's trying to perfectly. And the base being the surface of the water with that uneven surface is just excellently done. Really nice paint job on that too. Barrels are very nicely sculpted, painted and weathered. They have a nice bit of weight to them as well. I guess they're solid and not hollow. It definitely doesn't feel hollow. It feels like a solid piece, which is nice. This is one of the older pics on Martin's Instagram, and it looks like a slightly different base on that little one there, but look at the size of this one. That is absolutely amazing. I can only imagine. I mean, if this is that cool, then the bigger one would be even cooler. Yeah, I've got the magnet on display here. That's from Etsy, Sinister Gifts. And you've also got Matt Weaver, Wicked Designs on Instagram, who would do probably a more 3D version of this, make it more, you know, just you can do basically any design you want. But I just grabbed this because I knew I was getting those NECA, Quint and Hooper figures. At the time I didn't know I was getting this, just went down the rabbit hole and discovered Martin on Instagram and had to get one, so it goes really nicely with Bruce here. Okay everyone, I'm going to wrap up the video. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video and you found it, you know, informative or entertaining, then drop a like on it for me. It will help this video reach more people on YouTube, and I'm sure there's a lot of Jaws fans out there who would love to know that something like this exists and is gettable. It's one of the most popular movies of all time, and this is one of the best representations of the main antagonist of all time. I mean, it's just absolutely flawless work by Martin. Like I said, do bear in mind, Martin is doing these in his free time. He's a busy guy, so get in touch with him if you really want one through the Instagram page that I showed you earlier at the beginning of the video. Talk to the guy, see what he can do for you. But I can't recommend it enough. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Take it easy. Bye bye. Stay out of the damn water.